are rising for the mayfly, and the sun is shining. Hope to be a fly fish to the day that I die. Spring has thawed out the long bitter winter. The water is clear and the skies are blue. I'm standing in the middle of the Delaware River. Might even catch and release one or two. Life is good when I'm wading the river. Gets even better when I cast a fly. If I catch a trout, it don't really matter. It's fun just to be here and give it a try. Stoneflies and caddis in the riffles are plenty. Mayflies a courting on fragrant breeze. The cedar wax wings come down from the heavens, wait for their dinner up in the pine trees. Trout is rising in the far eddy. I make a false cast, then take my aim. If he takes the fly, I'd feel so much better, and if he doesn't, I'll feel no shame. The water is cold and my waders leak. It's raining now on my favorite stream. I'll bear it all, just fish with a feather, so when I sleep I will have a sweet dream. Life is good when I'm wading a river. Gets even better when I cast a fly. Trout, it don't really matter. It's fun just to be here and give it a try. Ripples and waves, pools and eddies, trout are rising for the dry fly, and the sun is shining down on the valley. Hope to be a fly fishing till the day that I die. Spring has thawed out the long bitter winter. The water is clear and the skies are blue. I'm standing in the middle of the Beaver Kill River. Might even catch and release one or two. Ripples and waves, pools and eddies, trout are rising for the dry fly.
Hi folks, Kurt Nelson here for Riffles and Waves. I'm just down here at Rock Bottom Dam in Binghamton, New York, picking up some trash from leftover from the winter time. Today's show I want to talk to you about safety on the river. This is probably the best place to do it since this is one of the most dangerous pieces of water in New York State as well as the country. This dam here is a low head dam. And at this water level especially, it is to be avoided at all costs. And we'll talk a little more about some of the hazards here. But today's show I'm going to talk a little bit about safety on the river. The springtime is a good time to fish. April 1st is opening day for trout season. And I think it's a little too early in New York State. I think opening day should be probably May 1st. In New York State, since it's about the 15th in Pennsylvania. We should be a couple weeks behind that, and it just makes biological sense as well as good fishing sense. But wading safely in the springtime can be very difficult. The water could be cloudy. You may not be able to see very well. The water is a little cloudy here. That's normal in the spring. A little bit of erosion upstream, perhaps. But the thing is, you can't see where you're wading. So a wading staff is a good thing to have. When I'm on a trout stream, I usually find a stick that a beaver had chewed off from a branch, and I'll use that as a wading staff. And I'll even do that when the water's clear and you can see. Because wading and moving water is about the most dangerous thing a fisherman can do. A canoeist, when they tip over their boat, the last thing they do is try to stand up in moving water. They know how dangerous it is. They're wearing a PFD, personal flotation device. There's other, there's wading vests, fly fishing vests that have floating material in them, and they could help you. One of the problems with wading is a lot of people have these new lightweight waders, and they're extra large size to give you comfort because the material itself doesn't stretch. You need more material so you can move around comfortably. And what happens is people forget to wear their wading belt with these waders. And if they slip and fall into the water, the waders fill up and they become very, very heavy. And it's very hard to swim with those type of wader conditions. I think last year or a couple of years ago, we loved, every year on the Susquehanna we lose a couple of fishermen, and that's something we have to avoid. It's a safety issue for people. It's also public awareness for the river. The river at this depth is extremely dangerous. There's root wads out in the water. There's actually a tree out there flipping up and down, going around and round. So you can see how dangerous this hydraulic situation is here. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But wading safely, another thing you can do is have waders that have, especially in the spring, neoprene waders. The lightweight waders aren't very well insulated, so they can cause problems with temperature. Okay, the water's very cold. In the springtime, it's all ice and snow that's melting, and it's extremely cold and high. And neoprene waders are a good thing to wear at this time of the year. Number one, they insulate very well. You don't get cold, and if your legs get cold, you can lose strength in your legs and actually not be able to walk very well. So your legs become kind of sleepy, and that can be a hazard too, because you can't be, it's very dangerous to be in moving water and wading. And I have fished the Sable and other rapid type streams, and I'm always very cautious when I'm wading. And sometimes, you have to give up a chance at a fish because it's too dangerous to even try to wade to where you can cast it. So safety is the first primary concern when you're wading on moving water. About the dam here, and this was rebuilt after 3 firemen died here trying to save what they thought was a body in the hydraulic. And the way a low head dam works is it's pretty simple, really. It's a dam that's concave. So the water comes over and then goes down, and then it recirculates in a boil. It's called a hydraulic. Now, what's dangerous about this? Well, they built a wall on each side of the dam, so that even if you did accidentally fall in and get in this water, and if you work your way through the boil and got to the side, there's no way for you to get out. So they actually remade the dam exactly like it was when it killed those firemen in that tragic accident 25, 30 years ago, and they made it more dangerous. So it's really insane the way this dam was built here. And it doesn't look it, but this dam is over 13 to 15 feet high. Right here you can see about the top 3 feet of the dam. So there's a lot of water circulating right here. We'll try to get some better shots of it, but you can see that downstream probably about 15 or 20 feet downstream is moving upstream faster than you could swim. So you're looking at the current is going downstream, but in that area it's coming upstream. So if you got stuck out there trying to go fishing and waiting and you fell in here, it'd be very difficult to get out of this situation. And you'll also notice that the water comes over the dam and down, and it comes back up in that circulation. That circulation is about 1.5 to 2 feet up. So not only would you be swimming against the current, you'd be swimming against gravity. If you ever, think about trying to swim uphill in the water. It's virtually impossible. So this is a dangerous situation. And there's a big log out there. I'm gonna go get some shots of the hydraulics. So I'll see you back at the ranch, and I'll be showing you some waders and some other things. All right? I'm gonna keep picking up garbage, because every time you go fishing, you should leave it cleaner than when you found it. And that way we'll always have clean places for the fish.
Hey folks, Kurt here. I'm down by closer to the rock bottom dam. It's kind of scary down here. I mean, the water is thunderous. Look at that, a mink. Did you see that mink? Cool. I just saw a mink run over there. Must have scared him out of here. He must have been down here fishing. Anyway, the water is thunderous down here, and it's just kind of nerve-wracking. And when you look out here, you see, look at that log. That's a huge log. That's about 12 inches in diameter, probably about 15 feet long, and it's being tossed about like it's a stick. And there's one even farther over. And we even have a mayfly hatch coming off here, or is it caddis? I can't really tell. It looks like a blue-winged olive hatch. In this violent water area, we have a hatch going on. But anyway, if you keep your eyes out here, you'll see that log. There it goes again. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, neat. Look at these logs. They're just being tossed around like twigs in a drainage ditch. And if you take a closer look from this level, oh, that's a little black stonefly is what that is. That's a little black stonefly. Anyway, if you look out here at this water, it is almost 1.5 feet high, hydraulic. So that's why that log is being stuck there. It twists around, comes up in that boil, and then the current is going back towards the water. And you'll see the log disappear. That log is underwater now, and it pops up 15 feet down below, and it's heading back up to that hydraulic. This is extremely dangerous water. Look at that. You think of the size and the weight of that log, and it's just being tossed around like that, and it's also being held underwater. Well, we'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds that log was held underwater in that hydraulic. That's a tremendous amount of power. And whenever you go fishing or wading or any kind of water activity, you have to respect the power of water. This is a very dramatic position right here, but you can see how strong that water is. That water wants to go to the ocean, and anything that gets in its way is in trouble. And it looks nice and flat upstream, and then you have this simple little man-made catastrophe here, and just it's just amazing, the power of water. So I want you to, when you wade and go fishing, I always want you to respect water and the power of that. And don't try to wade over your waist. I know they're called chest waders, but if you go in over your waist, your body becomes more buoyant because it's lighter. And the waders actually make you kind of buoyant. So please don't wade over your waist, okay? I know they're chest waders, but don't go over your waist. You just lose too much control with the contact to the bottom of the water. But again, this is very dramatic right here. And watch that log. 1. Oh, that only went down for 2 seconds there. It's just amazing that a log that big can be held underwater for that long a time. This is just crazy.
Hey folks, Kurt Nelson here again with Riffles and Waves. I'm back at the ranch up here on Dimmick Hill Road. I just climbed out of the cave and I came out on the back porch. Again, we were down at earlier today we were down at Rock Bottom Dam and we talked about the dangers of the dam. And now I'm going to go over some of the equipment you might use in fly fishing. Number one, that you're going to carry on you and with you when you go fly fishing, and we're going to talk a little bit about the waders and their safety. So let's put the old get box out of the way here. And again, this morning we talked about wading and wader safety. That was our prime concern down there. And again, you can always use a stick to help as a wading staff. This one's a little short, but you could use any stick. Again, I talked about if you wade too deep, you become buoyant and you actually lose contact with the bottom of the stream, and it can also be slippery. So there's two things there: how far in you go, how deep the water is, and how much contact you are creating with the surface of the bottom of the river or the stream. Corkers are required on the Salmon River during the winter season, and it's a good idea to wear these almost any time up there, or anytime you find a stream that has a lot of algae on the bottom and it's really slippery. These things are very valuable. They save your life and they keep good contact with the bottom. Sometimes if you catch a big fish, you gotta chase them downstream and walk them down a ways in order to land the fish. So corkers, very, very handy little thing. And here I have I talked a little bit about neoprene. Neoprene is a good thing to wear in the spring. Yes, it's sunny, yes, it's warm out, but that water is cold, okay? So you want to keep that in mind. And neoprene waders, these are 3 mil thick, I think, at least. These things will keep you pretty warm. A little pocket here for flies and whatever. And these are boot attached. One of the problems with boot attached waders is fit. These fit here, but here is too baggy, and this does chafe a little bit on my legs, so they're not very comfortable. And I got my corkers on here, strapped on, and then I put screws in here to a little added protection to keep the heel on there. Sometimes these can come off and it creates a problem. And again, these are neoprene chest waders. It doesn't mean I can wade in moving water up to my chest. I might be able to wade out in a lake fairly deep. I might be able to wade out in a real flat water situation where there's not a lot of current and still maintain safe contact with the bottom of that stream. So keep that in mind. Again, safety first. Safety, fun, and then we want to learn something. What I use, and I use these as a safety device because they're hip boots. It means that I can't wade much deeper than my waist. If I go up to here, I'm going to get wet and be uncomfortable. This is about as deep as I will go, and on moving water. So if I have to wade a deep pool, I'm just not going to do it. What I'm going to do is
structure my casting ability around getting to that fish on the other side of the stream. You know, you might want to cast upstream and do a reach cast. That might get you a good flow. So use your casting ability and learn how to cast. And we'll talk about casting a little later. And maybe another show, and maybe I'll get some in today. I probably won't today, but these have felt bottoms, okay? These give you good contact with the bottom. But again, these aren't perfect. If a stream has a lot of algae buildup, these will slip. But in most stream conditions, these work just fine. These were about 45 bucks at the Rwsea shop, and you know, I get a new pair of these every couple of years. They just dry rot and rot out, and from use they start leaking. So these are a cheap way to go, and they're a safe way to go. You can't go any deeper than about here. So if you learn how to cast properly, you won't have a problem. Another safety device, a lot of times you're out fishing after dark, and not only do you need a light so that you can see to tie flies, it helps you on the current, or it helps you in the woods when you're walking to and from your car, and it may help you cross a stream to use the light. In a safety situation, this one has a flash. If you were in trouble, you could put it in the flash mode. You could put it in the flash mode, and that might help call attention to you and your location and help save your life. Okay, so it's a good idea to get one of these cheap little. Again, they're real cheap, and you just put AAA batteries in them, and you have a dim light, you have a bright light, and it's an LED, so the batteries will last a long time. I've even dropped these in water and you know, picked them up, and they still work. So you want keep a little light handy, and these things are really good. I have other lights. This is a bigger one, and the battery's dying on that, but this is a bigger one I used to use for skiing in the winter time, and it's a pretty good light. This was the precursor to these types. Okay, you needed a bigger battery, more expensive, and these are cheaper and lighter weight and do all the same things that big one does. Another thing you might want to keep in your vest is a camera. A lot of times you see wildlife out there, and it's nice to have a camera. It's not a safety device, but again, always keep a little camera with you. Treasure those moments and save some of the beauty that's out there. And I make a lot of screensavers out of pictures I take when I go fishing. One of another safety device, these are a real cheap pair, polarized sunglasses. These are very important. These not only allow you to look cool when you're driving to the stream, but they allow you to see in the water. So when you're wading, you can see the structures on the bottom. So it's very important to have polarized glasses as a safety device. Okay? Now the other positive to these is, you know, one, you look cool when you drive to the river, or however you get to the river, but you also look cool on the river, but you can see through the water very well with these, and you can spot fish, and that gives you that added advantage that sometimes you need to be successful fly fishermen. So go get a pair of polarized glasses, not just UV and cheap sunglasses. Go get some good polarized glasses, because you're going to be wearing them all day long. And I use the little croakers so that you can take them off in case you have to tie a fly on. It's hard sometimes to see with these, but these help you see in the water and cross the stream safely. Another important thing you want to carry always is a fly box full of flies, and I have several. Here's some nymphs. Here's a little nymph pouch. I have some nymphs in there, and this helps dry them out. Another safety device I'd like to call attention to, because I had Lyme disease this year, and I hope I'm over it, but bug dope. Now this won't keep ticks away,
I guess. But again, bug dope is very important, and you want to be careful how you use it. You don't want to get it on your hands if you're going to be handling trout, because the chemicals in here are not good for the trout on their skin, okay? And some of this stuff will dissolve leader, so you really got to be careful using this stuff. What I do is I put it on my hat, or I put it on the back of my neck and on my arms, and I try not to get my hands in contact with it. So if you put some on your shirt even, it'll keep the mosquitoes and black flies away for the most part. So keep some bug dope handy. Another thing I always carry is I carry non-toxic lead sinkers to help get that fly down there on the bottom. And I carry some putty. This is a putty that you use on, it's like really bright, and you put it on your fly line, and it's like makes it float, and it's like a bobber is what it is, and it's very handy stuff. So if you're using a nymph and you want to cast out there, and it's like a, what do you call it, strike indicator material. I also keep a bunch of tippet material of different sizes, 2 pound and 4 pound, and usually 1 pound tippet material right in one of my side pockets. Another handy thing is some hemostats, which I have clipped to my vest. This helps you take hooks out of the trout without touching them and safely releasing them. And I keep it clipped right on there, just like so. I also have a zinger here for my nippers. I got a nipper right here. This is to cut your fly line. I have some putty floating. And I have another light right here, and I have all kinds of vials with flies. Oh yeah, that's full of flies. And then I keep my fly boxes in here, and I keep a spare reel here, and I think I have some more bug dope back there, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I carry a thermometer usually. I don't know if I have one in here, but I keep my fly fishing license right there, and there's a thermometer in there, and here's another little strip thermometer that you put in the water, and that tells you the temperature. So that's basically it. That's my fly vest. A lot of people also wear lanyards. Lanyards are very nice, and if you watched my show last year, I made some on the show. If you have any questions about this week's show or safety or anything else you want to ask me, email me at avkurt@mac.com. Now, I always give something away. Well, I tell you what, I got a t-shirt, Riffles and Waves t-shirt for the first person to email me. All you got to do is tell me what size you have. I have small, medium, and large in youth, and I have extra large, large, and medium in adult sizes. So let me know what kind of t-shirt you want, and be the first person to email me at avkurt@mac.com and tell me that you want the shirt. And that way I'll know which email is first, and I will contact you and ask for your address, and I will mail you out a t-shirt. How's that sound? And until then, wade safe, have fun, and always learn something on the stream. See you next week.
Walking down by the river, what do I see? Fish swimming in the water, right by me. Turtle on that log, poking up in the sun. Ducks meeting in an eddy, looks like a lot of fun. Come on now, people, won't you listen to me? The river is a beautiful place to be.
Nelson,
What?
I came home and told you that very thing, but you didn't pay me. No, never mind.
I did too.
You did not.
I did too.
You put your car in and you went back and played that stupid game.